Hey everybody, Gabby here, and you may notice that things are a little bit different right now. I'm in my new place, and this is gonna be the potato setup for the next while. Now, as many of you know, I really do like to stress test my computer with recording YouTube content, so here we are. Today I'm going to be recording a couple of battles with this team that I built before moving. It's interesting. I can't say it's necessarily a good team for the Series 7 metagame. In fact, I haven't even really tried it on any of the competitive ladders, but it has a lot of interesting tech that I think harkens back to an older time in VGC. So my first idea behind this team was honestly to get something with Garchomp, Tyranitar, and Tapu Koko on it. Garchomp is kind of the be-all end-all dragon of VGC history. I mean, yes, maybe Mega Rayquaza as well once you get into formats where Mega Rayquaza is allowed to be played, but it seems like to me, like I brought Garchomp to my first ever VGC tournament, and it's just one of those like classics, you know? So I really wanted to bring that into my first VGC team. And Garchomp, as you may know, gets two abilities, Rough Skin and Sand Veil. It's right there, Gabby. It's right there. I decided, you know what the heck, even though Rough Skin probably long-term is the more viable choice for Garchomp, being able to deal a little bit of damage every time someone makes contact with your Pokemon is honestly an amazing thing to have. But let's just make a Sandville team for the heck of it. So one of the potential leads for this team is you lead Tyranitar, Garchomp, you get Sandstorm up, and then you have a higher chance of dodging any of your opponent's moves. I wanted to fit Tapu Koko in there as well because Garchomp plus a electric type Pokemon has been a really strong core traditionally. And knowing what I know now about the metagame, I think if I were to go back and rework this team, I'd probably make it a Regieleki, just because I think that's better than Tapu Koko for this team. But going into the format, I kind of stuck with what I knew and just went, all right, I need a powerful electric type Pokemon. I have Tailwind support in the form of Tornadus that's fairly consistent. Let's just have Specs Tapu Koko and just see how it goes. And it works well. It works well, all things considered. Porygon 2 is there for anti-Trick Room and just being a very bulky Pokemon with access to recover and some decent attacks, especially if you get the download special attack bonus. Kartana with an Assault Vest is something I really want to play around more with, especially when it comes to the Tapu Fini, Kartana, and Arcanine / Incineroar / Fire type core. I think that has a lot of potential going into Series 7. But for this team, we don't have any of those Pokemon because I decided to make it a Garchomp and a Tyranitar. So the code is on the screen. In case you're wondering what moves my head is currently covering on Garchomp, I believe there's Rock Slide, Dragon Claw, Earthquake Protect. Porygon 2 knows Ice Beam and Tri Attack. But yeah, that all being said, let's just jump into battle and see how it goes. I'm also really curious how this battle's even going to turn out, or this video, I should say. I am going to jump onto casual just because I have not started ranked yet, and I think I want to start my ranked climb with something a little bit different. Ah, yes. Are you? I don't have the Kartana on this. You're not letting me. Okay. All right, well, I took the Kartana out of this team so that I could try and hunt for a shiny one with the Dynamax Adventures. For those of you who don't know, once you unlock the ability to capture Ultra Beasts in Dynamax Adventures, which is behind a gate, though I won't say what because it may be considered story spoilers, you can then show any Ultra Beast to, oh, what's her name? Peonia? And she'll just be like, oh yeah, 5 Dynite ores, here you go, there's the den that you want. Works for legendaries too, actually. So, really fun. Kind of bad when you forget that you take out your Kartana for that purpose and then get distracted. Like, I didn't even go talk to her yet because I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna reset for Ice Force instead because that sounds like fun. Anyways, going into this game, I'm thinking we're just gonna go full cheese, especially since I forgot the Kartana, which I don't know. I'm not really missing Kartana for this game. So I'm thinking that we lead Garchomp, Tyranitar, since it's looking like there'll be a Talonflame or Comfy lead, potentially. Also, maybe even a Pheromosa, which is a really stupidly fast coaching Pokemon for Series 7, if you haven't looked into that yet. And then, Yeah, you can see my water bottle there. Sorry, everybody. Um, and then if we see Lele in the lead, we'll switch in Coco. I think that Lele Metagross on this team is an attempt to take advantage of Psychic Terrain by the Metagross. Okay, Dragonite Comfy. I don't know what this does. All right. So similar to Lapras and Comfy in the previous formats for VGC in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, I'm thinking that this Comfy is here purely to activate Weakness Policy on its buddy Dragonite. Unfortunately for me, I don't really have too much I can do to stop that, barring going immediately for a Dynamax of my own and trying to crush Comfy before it sets up too much. The weird thing about Dragonite, I shouldn't say it's weird, it's actually quite cool, is that it gets access to the ability Multiscale, which will weaken any hit to the Dragonite, provided that it's still at full health. So by waiting a turn to sort of deal with it, not only do we get to prioritize damage on the Comfy, which will be the more frustrating threat as we move on throughout this game, we have the chance of activating our own weakness policy on our Tyranitar, and we'll get that like literally 1% sandstorm tick down onto that Dragonite. So multi-scale will no longer be active, and then hopefully the Specs, Tapu Koko, and Tyranitar can do something about it. So I'm curious if we're going to see the Comfy go immediately for a Draining Kiss. The alternative here could have been doubling into the Garchomp on the off chance it had something like a Focus Sash. I don't think a lot of people are running Focus Sash Garchomp at this point in time, but I haven't really been playing too much because I moved locations and I had to get this all set up. But we'll see. Alright, there's the lovely Kiss, there's the super effective hit, and there's the weakness policy. So yeah, we're all good. Multi-scale on this Dragonite really only existed to weaken the hit from Lovely Kiss. And fortunately for us too, we predicted that he would target the Garchomp correctly, and because that Max Wormwind went into the Tapu Koko, it just didn't happen. So we didn't get a -1 in our attack on that Tyranitar as well. So we are good to go, my friends. So we'll Dazzle here to get the dual KO, and then we will Rockfall onto the Dragonite, hoping that we get our weakness policy of our own, and he just forfeited. Cool. Alright, well, you know what? Let's do one more, I guess. Sans Kartana? No, let me add the Kartana back in. Anyways, let me actually get to Battle Tower too, as well. So I guess other life updates since we're here. I have a standing desk now, so I'm actually recording this video standing up, and it's actually really kind of nice. I feel like I'm on my feet, I'm engaged, I'm ready to play Mr. Chief. Oh my gosh, he has Top Moth! That is a team I haven't seen in a very, very long time. That is crazy nostalgic. Oh my goodness. Rotom Wash, Volcarona, Hitmontop, Tyranitar, Togekiss, and Rillaboom for that little dash of Galarian Flare. I forgot how much I missed these Pokemon altogether. Now, Top Moth was traditionally known to use Fake Out and then going for a boost on the Volcarona in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes you would use that bug type attack it gets. I'm completely blanking on right now because I'm trying to think through my team preview. Sometimes you would use Fiery... Oh, wow. I just can't remember any Volcarona moves. That's fine. You know what? It's there to boost the Volcarona. So leading with double Rock Slide is really the best thing you can do because Hitmontop can only knock out one of these Pokemon, and we even have the potential to Dynamax here as well to further disrupt the threat of a Fake Out plus a boost. Porygon in the back is just a really nice adjustment to deal with the Rotom and the Monkey, and then I'm going to bring Kartana as well because, again, Kartana just has a really nice tight matchup against a lot of these Pokemon. We will have to be careful about speed control. We will have to be careful about the Top Moth potential lead. But if we see Top Moth, it'll be a walk down memory lane, and then I can also remember those new things that I forgot, because it has been so long. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you, Mr. G. I needed this refresher. Alright, let's go. Intimidate down into both these Pokemon, that's not a surprise. Hitmontop is probably one of the better Intimidators in the game. I would have argued it was the best until Incineroar came around, and then Incineroar just kind of pointed and was like, yeah, right. So we're gonna go ahead here and go for the Rock Slide, and I am actually going to go for a Rock Fall onto the Hitmontop as well. The Dynamax might be a little bit too much here, but I'm really hoping that Dynamax will allow me to take any potential attacks next turn that this Volcarona has, and also just, you know, let it do its own thing, I guess. Hitmontop is the bigger threat long term, so I really need to prioritize getting damage down on that before worrying about anything else this opponent may have. And they knew to respect the double Rock Slide. That's fair. That's fair. Fake Out does go into Garchomp, which is unfortunate, but I don't think that really mattered, honestly. Because Volcarona protected, the stakes on this turn are actually pretty low. I'm getting a decent, presumably decent chunk of damage down onto the Hitmontop, and activating its eject button is honestly worth it. I just realized that my head is completely blocking the HP on my opponent's Pokemon. Alright. I'll have to fix that. So I'm thinking turn 2 will... It's difficult because we are intimidated, and I feel like that's something I probably should respect a little bit more. I don't want to switch Kartana into anything with Volcarona, though, so I'm going to go ahead and Rock Slide, Rock Fall once again. Best case scenario here is that we eat a Max Knuckle from the opposing Tyranitar, and boost ourselves right back up, but my opponent very smartly is keeping that Volcarona safe. I think they know that I'm sort of stuck at this point, especially with Dynamax on the field. Good news is that we did correctly target and predicted another Protect, so even though we're taking a lot of a momentum loss here with all of these Intimidates, the fact that my opponent isn't really capitalizing on it means that we're still in a decent spot. Not great, as you can tell by that damage roll, but decent. Decent. I will, however, take this opportunity to switch out the Garchomp and send in the Porygon 2. Again, we have to be very careful about when the Kartana makes an appearance, and I just don't feel comfortable with it right now. And because we have Porygon 2 coming in, I'm going to go ahead and try and drop the special defense on the opposing side of the field so that Porygon 2 is potentially more effective. I don't know. Like, if I can position things well for when Kartana does make an appearance, I feel like we'll be able to clean up pretty easily, but it's getting to that point that's proving to be a little bit difficult. Fortunately, we're back to neutral attack now, so that's nice. Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to just go for that, honestly. I guess, I mean, saving Dynamax for later is definitely a good play, but still, I honestly wasn't really expecting that. Unfortunately for Tyranitar, I'm gonna have to let it get KO'd next turn, again, for the sake of Kartana, but overall, I think it's still fine. Yes. We could protect here and just try to, like, stall out some more time. But I don't know. I don't think that would be a good use of resources. It's also highly likely here that Porygon 2 will eat a close combat from that Hitmontop, because we know already that the Tyranitar outspeeds my Tyranitar. That's by design, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is my Brave Tyranitar that's like negative attack, so it's not going to speed science anytime soon, unless my opponent's doing the same thing, I guess. So, alright, so he's switching out Tyranitar and sending in Volcarona, which means that the Hitmontop must be targeting this Tyranitar. Otherwise, there's just a Rock Slide accuracy check here. Wow, this is actually a really good turn for me. If I would have known that the Rotom was coming out, I would have gone for Tri-Attack rather than Ice Beam, but I'm happy with this. Volcarona just was KO'd. I was gonna see if it had a Focus Sash or not, because, again, can't see the HP in that spot because my head's in the way, but it's okay, future Gabby will fix that. Alright, cool. So now that Volcarona's gone, we can definitely be a little bit more generous with how we play the momentum moving forwards. I will continue to get chip damage down onto the Rotom slot. And I think I just have to let the Tyranitar get KO'd still. Like, I feel like that thing about this, that aspect of this turn still doesn't change. Admittedly, I am targeting the Rotom rather than the Tyranitar because I still have the Garchomp and the Kartana, and Rotom is the bigger threat in that regard. Especially knowing that it just used Nasty Plot, that's a good indication that next turn this Rotom will be Dynamaxing. Unless I were to send like a Kartana or something onto the field. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think a Leaf Blade from a Kartana can KO even a Dynamax Rotom at this range. I am like 90% certain. And the Sandstorm's gone, which also means that Tyranitar's special defense is going to be reset, so doesn't really mean too much in the context of this game. There's a high probability that Garchomp is going to be the one that knocks out the Tyranitar, but you know what, we'll take it. We will take it. The one thing we do have to worry about this turn is that Hitmontop coming in to go ahead and intimidate the Kartana, so I'm going to go ahead and try attack that slot in hopes of a KO on the Hitmontop as well, so that I don't have to worry about Fake Out next turn. This is an Assault Vest Kartana, therefore I do not run Protect or Detect, which means flinches at this point in time could really be detrimental in terms of momentum loss. So by making sure we KO the Hitmontop here, hopefully with a Tri-Attack, then even though Tyranitar comes back in and gets Sandstorm back up, we are still able to attack with both of our Pokemon next turn, and we don't necessarily have to worry as much. So, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh, Series 7 feels so nostalgic though, with all these Pokemon. Like, I feel like the formats that Series 7 reminds me of are the formats that I've just played my best Pokemon in. So I am so freaking excited to see where this is going to go long term. So excited. I've done a lot of theorying on paper and like in my mind, but because I've been so busy, I just haven't had a chance to really build on cart yet. But there are so many things that I'm excited about being good again. Like, I'm excited that Garchomp is back. I'm excited that we have this cool format where it's like, it feels like VGC 2015 plus plus. That's what it feels like to me. And there's more hidden abilities available, which is really amazing. Defiant Thundurus is something that I want to do a feature on before the end of Series 7. Hopefully this weekend. I should have some time this weekend to like actually play Pokemon, which I'm very much looking forward to. Now, if I wasn't so confident about my Tyranitar matchup at this point in time, I should have doubled into Citar there because that predict was pretty readable, but I feel fairly confident about my Tyranitar matchup. And the Rotom just has such small health. Even with the +2 special attack. Oh, but I guess he has a minus in special defense because of the max darkness. Okay, so we're not out of the woods yet. So I think what I do here, just to be 120% safe, rather than going for an Earthquake, which was my like first sort of gut instinct, we're gonna double into the Rotom. We're gonna Dragon Claw. and Tri-Attack, and with the absence of Intimidate on the Garchomp, that should be enough to knock it out. Like, that should be. And then there's no way that Tyranitar can KO Garchomp. There's just no way. Especially if it's running Superpower, there's no way. And he's too slow to flinch. And he's Dynamax, so it's not like he can go for a Will-O-Wisp or something spicy like that. So we're fine. Yep, we're fine. Good game. Good game. It actually feels pretty good playing playing some high-level Pokemon after a while of just, you know, taking a break. So unfortunately, one more crunch will be the KO here, but I think an Earthquake and we'll be fine. I will Earthquake and recover just to be like super safe, so then if Rotom has to, or excuse me, if Porygon 2 has to stall out a few turns, it can do that. But I think we're fine. I really do think we're fine. I wish I could see how much HP that Tyranitar had, but, you know, we'll get there eventually. Alright, so he's seeing how much damage I'll do to myself. Hopefully I don't crit. Like, if that was a crit KO on Porygon 2, I'd probably be a bit salty. Oh, and we have Sandvale as well. We have Sandvale as well on our side, so even though it hasn't procced yet, there is always the potential of a Sandvale bailing us out at this point too. So I'd love to see a Sandvale miss before the end of this game. Just saying. Can't really see how much damage we're doing, but alright, that wasn't a KO. Good to know. Good to know. Well, that changes things a little bit. Oh, and no Sandvale. Okay. Well, we're not good. We're not good at all. Okay. Is there any other way you can see how much HP is left? Will this tell me? Oh man, it was so small too. Alright, well, we'll just Ice Beam and pray, I guess. Ice Beam and pray that Superpower doesn't kill. Dude, why? Okay. He's Protect Stalling because he thinks that the Sandstorm chip is going to be more influential than the special defense boost from his Sandstorm, but yeah, that didn't happen because that was the last turn. Alright, come on, let's just roll. Let's roll. Let's go for it. Let's give it a good old roll of the dice. Superpower. Good game. Admittedly, had I had known that Earthquake was gonna miss with that much health, I probably wouldn't have gone for the recover that turn and just doubled, but you know what? It's fine. It all worked out anyways. Alright, well that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this team, make sure to check out the code in the YouTube description down below. And if you have any teams that you want me to try out for Series 7 in particular, please feel free to send them to me on here or on Twitter. As I don't really have anything in game quite yet, I'm looking to try out everything. So that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching. I think Potato Computer survived this effort with a success. So until next time, I'll see you later.